Hello and welcome to CloudFolks HUB. My name is Bhavesh Atara. In this video, we are also going to create ECS cluster, but this time we are going to add EC2 instances. This is really very interesting that if I am going to add EC2 instances during my cluster creation, what will happen? We are going to explore this practically in this video, so let's start. Right now, I am inside my ECS console and I'm going to click on Create Cluster. Here, I'm going to give name. Let's say that my first cluster. As we have complete idea about this AWS Fargate, it is going to add Fargate and Fargate support automatically while you are creating cluster from AWS console. But what about EC2? Let's understand all this behavior first using mind map. Then we are going to perform lab. So here our topic, adding EC2 infrastructure to the ECS cluster. Going to start with introduction. In addition to Fargate and Fargate support, which are always available if you are creating cluster from console, you can also use EC2 instances as an infrastructure for running containers. It gives you more control over compute layer because in the Fargate we have serverless options, so we don't have control on any compute environment. Here we can choose our own Amazon machine image, storage and networking. Now there are two ways to add EC2 infrastructure inside ECS cluster. The first, you are adding this infrastructure during cluster creation. Right now, I am creating this particular cluster and I am going to add EC2 instance from here only. Another option is you are adding it later. So, add EC2 manually after cluster creation. We want to explore both of these options practically, but we are going to start with the first option, add EC2 during cluster creation. Let me explain you using mind map first, then we will perform lab. While creating the cluster from AWS console, you can select EC2 infrastructure. Yeah, I just selected this. AWS will automatically create auto scaling group, launch template, because when you are going to set up a auto scaling group, you have to set up launch template. So AWS will create this automatically, and ECS optimize EC2 instances, means instances specifically built for ECS. You just need to provide VPC and subnet, instance type and AMI. You can choose instance type according to your workload, key pair in order to access your EC2 instance, security group to protect your EC2 instance, minimum, maximum and desired instance count. As you are setting up auto scaling here, we have to provide these details as well. Recommendation. Use this option if you plan to run workload on EC2 from the beginning. Let's say that I am creating cluster and I know that I am going to use EC2 to launch my containers and tasks. Then it is recommended to select this option right now from the beginning while you are creating this cluster. Why? Because it is easier and faster, because AWS provide everything to you. So it is going to configure most of the things automatically, right? So what I am doing right now, I am going to choose this Amazon EC2 instances. Now, if I have my existing auto scaling group, I can add this auto scaling group. But as I am completely creating new cluster, I am going to say that, okay, create new auto scaling group. Now you want on-demand instance or support. I am saying that I want to add on-demand. Then here we have ECS optimize AMI, right? So you can choose any AMI. All these are actually ECS optimized. Now I'm going to choose this, the default one. Now why we call it ECS optimize, right? See, if you have your EC2 instance and if you want to add this EC2 instance into the ECS cluster, you have to install container runtime inside your EC2 instance. Then you have to install ECS agent. Now, if you don't want to do this, and if you are using ECS optimized AMI, you have ready to use inbuilt agent installed, and also container runtime is installed. So if you are using ECS optimized AMI, it is directly and it will be very easy to connect with your ECS cluster, right? I will provide you more detail about this when we are going to create EC2 instance and attach with the ECS cluster, means when we are going for the manual process. Right now we are choosing this, which is the default one. Then as we are creating EC2 instance, we have to select instance type according to our workload. I am going to choose T2 micro because it is free. Now we have to attach one EC2 instance role as well. So what will happen here, ECS cluster is going to create one role and it is going to attach with your instance profile. Now this role is giving permission to your EC2 instance to connect with your ECS cluster. As I have created cluster earlier as well, I am getting it over here with the name ECS instance role. If you are doing this first time, obviously you don't have this role over there. So in this case, what you have to do over here, you have to click on create new role. If you select this, it will create role automatically with the name ECS instance role. Now I have this ready to use, I am going to use it. You guys can choose create new role and it will create this role. Now you may have one question as well, like if I am going to create this role manually, how I can do this? No need to worry about this. I will explain you about this as well in upcoming video when we are going to add EC2 instance with our ECS cluster manually. So at that time I will talk about this role, but right now you just need to remember that this role is actually giving permission to our EC2 instance to attach with our ECS cluster, right? Now how many instances you want? Let's say that I'm going to say 1 and the desired capacity means maximum I can go up to 2, right? It is part of auto scaling group. Here I have to select my SSH key pair. So if I want to access my EC2 instance through the SSH, I can use this key. It is going to create one EBS volume for each EC2 instances and the size is 30 GB is a minimum. So I'm just going with the default one. Now it is all about VPC. I'm going to choose my default VPC. Here I have 3 subnets inside my Asia Pacific Mumbai. Now I'm not going to choose AP South 1C because what is actually problem, sometime AWS is not allowing us to create a T2 micro instances in AP South 1C. Okay, so I'm not going to choose this over here, so there is no chance that it is going to throw some errors. So that's why I'm selecting AP South 1A and B, right? Now which security group you want to use? I'm going to choose default security group. And do you want to assign public IP to your EC2 instance? I'm saying yes. So if we want to access this EC2 instances using SSH, we can use this. Otherwise, we can use machine host and access this. It is also obvious choice. Now, everything is done. I'm going to click on create. But before I'm going to click on create, I want you to see this. Right now, I don't have any EC2 instances running. Another point is I don't have any auto scaling group as well. So I don't have any auto scaling group or I don't have any EC2 instances running, right? I am telling you all this. Why? Because once I'm going to click on create over here, it is going to create infrastructure for me. So here I just clicked on create cluster. My cluster creation is in progress. We have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes and it is going to create whole infrastructure for us. I will come back when it will be ready.
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.